This is Algebra 2, Lesson 14a, Part 2, and I'm going to be looking at numbers 9 through 12. And let me just say, you're going to have to flip way back in your book. Oh gosh, I lost my spot. Somewhere in the back of your book. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Dun, dun, dun. There it is. Okay, this is page 386. There's this lovely little chart called the atomic weight table. So if you've had any chemistry, you're familiar with the atomic weights and their symbols, okay? You do not have to memorize this. You have to be able to use this chart, okay? So if there's a test or a quiz, it will be provided, okay? So look at number 9. These are so simple, but I do not know how to say these. But it says find the percentage of silicon, and it gives you this little, gosh, I can't even think of the wordings, but SiO2. Hopefully you're going to realize, if you haven't had chemistry, no big deal, but there's one silicon and there's two oxygens. So what you're going to want to do is write down, look in the back of the book, what is silicon? What is its atomic weight? So if you look in the back of the book, you've got 28, okay? So here's what we're looking for, okay? Now, there are two oxygens. So oxygen, if you look in the back, okay, I've done oxygen enough to kind of remember it's 16, okay? But there's two of them, okay? So since I want to know O2, I'm going to have to take this and multiply it times 2. Yes, I want to see where you're getting your numbers. Okay, so its atomic weight would be 32. So my total weight, okay, my total. So you add these two, because that's my total weight, and you're going to get what, 60? That's my total weight. Now, it wants to know the percentage of silicon. Well, silicon is 28 out of 60. So you can easily just hit 28 over 60. Again, I'm showing my work. I'm not just crunching it in the calculator and coming up with a number, okay? And so you should get 0.47, which is 47%. Okay, so they're that simple, okay? Now, number 10 is using the same problem, but number 10 wants to know it for oxygen. Realize there's a total of 32 out of 60. So I have it almost written right there. So number 10, all I have to show, because I've already shown all my work up here for number 9, but it was 32 out of 60, which if you hit that in your calculator, you get 0.53, which is 53%. Okay, so it's that simple. Now, let's look at number 11 real quick. It says find the percentage of iron in Fe2O3, okay? Notice, look in the back. Who cares if you know what Fe is? But when you look in the back, you'll know that it's iron, okay? And there are two parts of iron. So what I want you to do is go back in the book, okay? Look up what iron is, and it's 56. That's its atomic weight. There are two of them, okay? And that gives you 112. Again, just use your calculator. I want 3 oxygens. So what I'm going to do here, oxygen is 16. I want 3 of them. So when you do that, you quickly get 48. So my total atomic weight, add those together, is 160. Okay? Now what it asked for was the percentage of iron. This is iron. So it would be 112 out of 160. So I'm just going to show here 112 out of 160. Crunch that in your lovely little calculator, and out pops 0.7, which is 70%. Make sure you take the time to convert it from a decimal to a percent, okay? Now, the only other thing I'm going to make you guys go back and do is lesson 13, and I hear an alarm going off. Just a minute. All right, I don't want to stop my video. From lesson 13, I'm going to have you do numbers 2 and 3 from 13H. Okay, so go back to 13H. I'll do number 1 for you, all right? But I think these word problems are pretty important, so we're going to go back and do that. Okay, so look what this one says. A rectangular garden was fenced using an existing fence on one side. The remaining 3 sides required 20 feet of fencing material. Well, that's just ridiculous. The area of the enclosed garden was 48 square feet. Find all possible dimensions for this garden. Okay? Let me just say, you probably are going to want to draw pictures. Love pictures. But look here. here's my garden. This fence right here was already there. That's why I'm just kind of making it a wave. Hopefully it's not really a wavy fence. But it says I've got 20 feet. I'm going to use 20 feet right here. Okay? That's not very much. That's why I was like, this is ridiculous. So, here's my length. And here's my width. I don't know what they are. All right, and hopefully you remember how to find area, because it told me the total area was 48. Remember how you find the area of a rectangle? It's length times width. So I know that my length times my width is, what did it say? 48. Okay. I also know that I only used 20 feet. So when I add these all up together, W plus L plus W, it should add up to 20. All right. Now, notice here that you're going to probably want to use some substitution to solve this. Hopefully everybody can see here that 2W plus L is 20. I'm going to get L by itself. Move the 2W to the other side. It's positive on this side. When you move it to the other side, you're going to subtract it. So probably what you want to do is take this and substitute it back into your other equation. Okay, this says L times W. So who cares what order you do it in? So I'm going to do W times L, and my L is 20 minus 2W. My length times my width is 48. So let's get rid of my parentheses here. 20W minus, see, W times a negative 2W is 48. Now, you guys should be good at solving, okay? Remember, whenever you solve and you have something that's squared, you need to set it equal to 0, okay? This is negative, so I'm going to move it to the other side so it becomes positive. So I get 2W squared. This one's positive. When I move it to the other side, it's going to become negative. And then factor. Notice they all have a 2 in common, so to keep things a little bit more simple, I'm going to factor out the 2. And that's going to go in there, what, 24 times? And then we're going to factor. Hopefully this one factors nice. Are there factors of 24 that add up to 10, a negative 10? And I'm thinking, yeah, 6 and 4. So we're going to have this. Notice negative 6 times a negative 4 is a positive 24. Negative 6 plus a negative 4 is negative 10. So look what I hear here. W either equals 6, my width is 6, or my width is 4. Okay? So my width is either going to be 6 feet or 4 feet. Okay? Gotta have to, because it wanted all possible dimensions. So remember that when I multiply these two together, my length times my width, I better get 48. So, or you could use this equation. I just think this is easier. If my width was 6, then my length would have to be what? 8. 6 times 8 is 48. So either I'm going to have a 6 by 8, okay, or put 4 in here. If my width was 4, that would make my other one 12, right? 12 times 4 is 48. So it would be a 4 by 12. So you've got two different answers there of the dimensions of my little garden or whatever it is I'm making. So try number 2 and 3. Sweat it out a little bit.